warm because you have a lot of.
Hi, everybody. We're getting on now.
Yeah.
We're getting started. Come on.
Yeah, I can go put something on too. Yeah, that's a good idea, and I can run in the bedroom.
Hi, everyone.
I'm almost there.
Mary's still getting herself together. We'll be a few
It's
more
like I'm
minutes, but
slow doing everything.
how's everybody doing? Hi, Margarita. Hi, Lynn.
Yay, Margarita.
Hi.
Okay, I'm almost there.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hi. Nice to meet most of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mary will be sitting in my place, I think, in a few minutes. And then you guys can decide how you want to run this, okay? 'Cause I
Okay.
don't- Unless you've already had a conversation about
It's
this.
largely up to
No, this is my
Hi, Sergey. Well,
this
that's
is my
fine.
husband,
Hi, everyone.
Sergey.
Hello, Sergey.
Yeah.
Hi. Nice to meet
So-
you, all of you.
All right.
Nice to meet you too.
Sergey, you will have to mute because I hear you from here. Okay, so
This is my.
there will be who knows how many people because I just gave link to my relatives. So what I will have to ask you, Nan, to get everyone on mute and cameras off, except only the dissertation committee.
Okay, why is
Okay, well, everybody
here? This
should
should.
know where to do that, right? Down at the bottom of the
Yeah.
left-hand corner of their screen.
She wants everyone to have it on mute.
And then I'm going to change places with Mary
Yeah.
and have,
So,
and you
and,
guys can have the presentation, and then when you're ready
Okay.
to
Do you
go
want
into
to
rooms, I will come
have
back and put everybody
this
into
page
rooms,
to open
okay? So
this
you guys can have a private conversation,
USF.
and Margarita can go off, okay? That's how we usually do
So
this.
so
That's not
when
important.
the committee goes into private room, everyone stays online connected.
Yeah, I will put them in a separate Zoom room, and they can have a conversation among themselves while the
Perfect.
committee has a
Perfect.
conversation among themselves, right?
Perfect.
Okay, and I
Wait.
think Mary's getting on. Mary,
Okay,
Yeah.
I have to say,
I'm
Mom,
on
you
and
have
I'm
to
just
put,
figuring
Mom,
out.
you have to push your microphone off.
Yeah, that's all I'm doing here.
Mom, your microphone is on. Thank you.
My to access your microphone.
Okay, so when Sergey, it's a back.
There.
Just it's not gonna work like this.
Mhm.
Okay.
do you need anything? Are we good? Because I'll go offline right now if you're good.
One more thing. When I have slides, every committee member should be cameras off as well.
I'm making you the co-host.
So
That way you will be
yes,
able to share your screen, okay?
okay.
You are now the co-host, so when you want to take over, you can take over the screen and start sharing your slides.
Yes, but Jennifer, Lynn, and Mary, I need your cameras off when my slides are on. Otherwise, recording will record everyone, and it covers part of the slideshow, and it's not helpful for recording.
I'm
Okay.
very happy to turn off my camera.
Yeah.
I will help Mary turn off her
during the
camera.
slides.
Do you want it off right now?
Oh, no.
Okay.
So, but when everything is settled down, then I don't know. Are we ready?
Yep, I think we're ready, and I will just jump in and turn off Mary's stuff when you need, okay? And I'm gonna go off camera right now. So go ahead,
Okay.
go for it.
Let me figure out that my husband turned off the sound. Sergey, did you turn the sound? No feedback loop?
No,
And Victor is here?
Victor is here.
Victor, hi. Okay.
I see
He's here. Okay, I am ready. And let me start this
Okay,
thing.
I'm gonna go turn off Mary's camera and mute her
Yes,
microphone.
all cameras should be off except mine.
Okay,
And
Okay.
I'm not gonna do anything in relation to hosting right now except sharing the screen.
okay.
But I'm not gonna be able to figure out how to use camera also off and off for people. Please do it yourself. Okay, where's the beginning? Okay, share screen. Share screen. This one. Share. And okay, it's not gonna. I need a feedback. This Zoom list of people is in the way of the slides. Someone turn on the phone and please let me know. Do you see the?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we see everything, Margarita. It looks good.
Okay. You said, okay. So I'm starting. So dissertations is called Socio-Emotional Communications Role in Work Relationship Growth and Maintenance. Emotions in Text-Based Computer-Mediated Communication. Introduction. As I am defending my dissertation today, I think back to where it all started. 8 years ago, in 2014, I felt the need to verify all the news about Russian-Ukrainian conflict that elicited so many emotions in me. I was not sure that emotions I felt regarding news articles were the same emotions intended by the journalists. Today, in the context of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, this became even more significant for me. Emotions are powerful and overwhelming. Emotions are communicated through written news articles. I feel them. Since 2014, the topic of emotional communication through text has become more important to me than when I just started working on this topic. As I was narrowing down the topic, online relationships as the context for socio-emotional communication came to the foreground. My 17-year experience in chatting played a key role there. Finally, my belief in the interconnectedness of everything got reflected in my theoretical construction, connecting the literature review with the results and discussion. Research question. How does socio-emotional communication via emails support the growth and maintenance of work relationships? I had sub-questions. How do participants perceive emotions' role in relationship growth and maintenance? And how do they convert their thoughts and emotions into written language using nonverbal cues? To answer these questions, I had a study proposition. Nonverbal cues enhance socio-emotional communication online. Theoretical construction. I will talk about 4 works that I identified as the most important in this research. First, David Hayes. His affect control theory reflected the interconnectedness of human experiences. His theory takes into account circumstances, interactional partner, mood, identity, and events to calculate the person's emotional experience. The actual mathematical formula used in this theory is much more complex than what I have here. However, for my purposes, a simplified version of it was more appropriate. One more important element, Hayes organized emotions in terms of evaluation, potency, and activity. Another important work for my research was done by Wolfgang Scholl. He built up on the Hayes affect control theory. Scholl focused on 5 interconnected domains: emotions, nonverbal communication, verbal communication, behavior, and personality. He also argued that all these domains are interconnected along 3-dimensional system that is identical to Hayes affect control theory. See the comparison in parentheses, I put Hayes terms over there. So according to Scholl, emotions can be measured along the 3 dimensions: emotional balance, intensity of activation, and perception of control. So far, I talked about Hayes and Scholl's works that focused on external and internal factors, most of which could be observed through human behaviors. Here are 2 works of Lazarus and Pert, who focused on the emotional processes that happen inside the organism. Lazarus argued that appraisal and emotions are part of the same system. Emotion cannot come without an appraisal, which can be very fast or somewhat slow. When emotional response feels sudden, the stimulus is being evaluated in thalamus and amygdala. And you can see the representation of that on the left brain picture. Otherwise, the emotion goes into prefrontal cortex for cognitive evaluation, and only then the human feels the emotion. And this is represented in the right picture of the brain. Furthermore, the appraisal or evaluation of emotional stimulus does not have to happen in the brain. Pert's discovery of peptide communication system for emotions was invaluable for this. She argued that memories are stored at the peptide receptor sites in the body and could be activated when exposed to certain stimuli. This means that emotion can be elicited, but the brain cannot figure out where that emotion comes from. Methodology. Study design. In my study, there were 4 participants who formed 6 dyads. The lines between the circles with participants' names represent dyads. The design was qualitative multiple case study, where each dyad was treated separately. The data collected consisted of various data types: questionnaires, email histories, 2 types of interviews, and my reflections. These multiple sources of data helped me triangulate, meaning that the information was compared. When different data sources bring similar information, its credibility is increased. Chat interviews were gathering information about the dyad's relationships, but face-to-face interviews focused on emotions. The participants had to answer 2 questions about each email message that I highlighted in a hard copy of their emails and brought to the interviews. These 2 questions were slightly different depending on the role, either sender or receiver. So when the participant was the sender of the message, I asked, what did you feel when you wrote this message? And what do you think your dyad partner felt when he read your message? In an interview with the receiver of this message, I would ask the same 2 questions with slightly different wording. Both versions are on the screen right now. For each email message, I received 4 emotional responses, and you can see them in the picture on the right. So 1, what emotion sender felt? 2, how receiver interpreted sender's emotion. 3, sender's attempt to guess receiver's emotion. And 4, what emotion receiver felt. These 4 responses created 2 pairs, one for sender's felt emotion and one for receiver's felt emotion. During data analysis process, each emotional pair was evaluated for accuracy of interpretation or guessing. Data analysis. Since I had participants name emotions using emotional words, I could write them down in the table right here. The highlighted emotional words were used more than 10 times in the study. There are the most common emotions: entertainment, used 34 times, frustration, used 27 times, and support used 22 times. No emotional response condition was present for 28 times. I grouped all emotional words using Hayes' sample list of emotions. The emotional group names came from Scholl's three-dimensional system, where for each dimension, I identified one or the other end of the continuum, specifically positive versus negative, active versus passive, and strong versus weak. And that gave the name to the groups. Participants. All 4 participants worked at the same organization that I called Animal Welfare for Confidential Purposes. The organization is dedicated to improving lives of pets. 4 of them and the CEO comprised the organization's executive team. The CEO was not included in the study to avoid power differences in the already complex study design. Angel, Ben, Carlo, and Vera are fictional names. And you can see their role over here. Results. I'll very briefly summarize each result section to leave more time for the discussion. Individual participants. For each participant, I created a rich description of his or her psychological portrait with multiple examples. Unfortunately, due to lack of time, I will be able to present these results only as a summary of the participants' most important traits. So here we go, psychological portrait. To describe participant psychological portrait, I need to say that all of them are very complex people. All have qualities that may play out as good or bad depending on the circumstance. The highlighted traits are important or unique to that participant. The last italized phrase is the participant coping strategy. So, Angel, she is an extrovert. She's an intense and authoritative person. She has some insecurities, but she was also very caring, sincere, and appreciative. She wears emotions on her sleeve. In text-based communication, she focused on her own emotions without too much consideration of her partner's emotions. She is able to recognize emotions in text if they are strong enough. Her coping strategy is to close down from someone who hurt her once. Next, Ben. He is similar to Angel in personality, communication style, and emotional expression. He is also relationship-oriented, loyal, and empathetic. In contrast to Angel, he is a good listener, sharp-minded, and detail-oriented. He enjoys being a focus of attention. He uses humor in his relationship maintenance. Ben has high emotional self-awareness. His coping strategy is to blame external factors for his own shortcomings. Next, Carlo. He has the most controversial personality among all of them. He has traits similar to Ben, relationship-oriented, good listener, uses humor in relationship maintenance, etc. But he also has unique traits. He has low emotional self-awareness, and he assumes that his emotions in emails are clear to everyone. It's interesting that he's able to accurately identify emotions of other people, but not his own. On top of that, his coping strategy is to withdraw emotions from emails and present things as facts. Last one, Vera. She is the only introvert among all participants. She presents very differently from everyone, especially in communication style online. The text-based communication is not for her. She is not able to use it effectively. She may write a few paragraphs in response to a single sentence. She reported having difficulties identifying emotions in emails, which are essential for her to understand the person. Her dyad partners identify Vera as the sweetest person I have ever met, and that's true. I agree. She is passionate, tactful, and humble. She puts interest of others before her own. She is accommodating, but not at the expense of her work ethics. Vera has a high emotional self-awareness. Her coping strategy to reduce tension is laughing. These are the results of the participants' emotional style questionnaire. I would like to focus on Vera and Carlo. Vera is in blue ink right there. Vera has two dimensions where she has difficulties: resilience and attention. Resilience is about how quickly one's emotions return to the baseline mood, and attention is about one's ability to ignore emotion-laden intrusions and continue focusing on the task. These results tell me that it takes Vera a long time to recover from emotional stress and that she cannot focus on her work while she feels emotional. Carlo, he's in red for those dimensions that I'm gonna talk about. So Carlo has the lowest scores on 4 dimensions, and on attention dimension, only Vera's score is 2 points lower than his. The dimensions that he is low on are outlook, which is about pessimist versus optimist. Optimists have higher scores. Then social intuition. It is about sensitivity to nonverbal social cues. This is the basis for empathy and compassion. Self-awareness shows one ability to recognize own thoughts, feelings, and body messages. And finally, sensitivity to context. It is about appropriateness of certain behavior in specific context. Notice that only 3 scores for Vera and Carlo are below the average. This means that as a group, the participants were better off than an average person. However, when compared to each other, Carlo is definitely behind. He is a borderline pessimist who has difficulties identifying his own emotions and who cannot focus on his work while feeling strong emotions. Thus, his coping strategy, where he withdraws emotions, may help him stay focused on work. Similarly to individual participants' results, I created a rich description for each dyad with multiple examples. To fit the time constraint, I will present only a few important things about each dyad. First dyad, Angel Ben. They had matching personalities and communication style. This dyad was naturally fitting together, and they also engaged in relationship maintenance. Their offices were next to each other. They had high trust. While they could recognize each other's emotions in emails, they preferred to resolve their conflicts over the phone or face-to-face. Next one. Angel Carlo dyad was the dyad with strongest relationship. They called themselves brother and sister. And as expected for siblings, they had fun interacting, but also lots of conflicts. Due to these conflicts, Angel trust was fluctuating. She was the one who felt offended in those conflicts. This dyad could recognize each other's emotions in emails, or so they believed. Vera, Angel Vera dyad, did not have compatible personalities or communication styles. They had to work closely together the first year, in which they developed high personal trust. However, they had a lot of work-related conflicts where they competed for resources and thus were not able to develop work-related trust. This is the only dyad who did not engage in relationship maintenance. Only when they had face-to-face meetings, they could understand each other and feel good about it. But the need for in-person meetings decreased with time, leaving them without the only tool they had to maintain their relationship. They could understand each other's emotions in emails to a limited degree.
Вера, Ангел, Катя. А где звук?
Звук я убрал сначала.
Ну, совсем-то не надо делать.
Выключите микрофон.
Да, она, наверное, показывает каких-то...
Мила, выключи микрофон.
Ага. Выключи.
Выключи микрофон. I'm sorry about that.
Микрофон, подожди, микрофон.
А, вон он.
Внизу.
Скажи, чтобы они
Тихо,
работали.
не говори.
И замолчите, пожалуйста. Бен Карло.
А вот она говорит.
Мила, микрофон выключи.
Микрофон. Нет. Где он?
I need, Nan, how to turn off?
Тут всё слышно.
Okay, mute. Okay, I think I'm okay. I think I'm good. Okay, guys, sorry about that. Okay. Let me think. I don't know where I stopped. Ben Carlo dyad was the best described as the brotherhood, a brotherly bond, which included love and rivalry. In contrast to Angel Vera dyad, these men had work-related trust, but no personal trust. Both used humor in relationship maintenance. Their emotion styles were different, but communication styles were the same. Both preferred emails. They believed that they could recognize each other's emotions in emails. Next, Ben Vera dyad had different personalities and incompatible communication styles. This dyad had a conflict from the start. Vera had to fire someone in her medical division. That person turned out to be Ben's friend. Ben was angry with Vera over this, and that happened for a few months. During that time, they did not talk to each other outside of the executive meetings until they actually started to build their relationship. This dyad engaged in the relationship maintenance the most. They developed high trust and respect. However, Ben still had some residual negativity toward Vera and did not use emotions or humor in emails. He did in face-to-face interactions only. Last one, Carlo Vera dyad had incompatible communication styles and emotional styles. They developed mutual trust right from the start when Carlo helped Vera during onboarding process. Vera decreased her time in the office and started to work longer hours in the treatment room. At that point, face-to-face communication was not available to them. Unless Carlo would walk to the other side of the building, which did not happen often. This dyad engaged in relationship maintenance. They believed that they could recognize emotions of each other in emails, which remains questionable after I analyzed emotional matching that I will discuss next. Okay, these are the results for sender-receiver emotional interpretations. I will start with the dyad level. After matching sender-receiver emotional responses, a total of 244 complete pairs were identified. Each dyad had different number of pairs. The maximum was 47 for Angel Carlo dyad, and minimum was 36 for Ben Vera and Angel Vera dyads. Little arrows show at the right columns where those minimum and maximum are. Since I could not compare accuracy of interpretations across dyads when they had different numbers of emotional pairs, I converted numbers into percentages. The table is organized from the highest interpretation accuracy to the lowest. Notice that Carlo's 3 dyads had much lower accuracy scores than the other 3 dyads. It's shown in a blue square for Carlo. Individual level. I extracted all emotional words from interview transcripts and placed them in one of these emotional groups. This table captures emotional group prevalence. The first 3 groups are highlighted. They are the most prevalent groups. The most common emotions in those groups are presented just above the table for your reference. The total number of emotional pairs was 244, and out of those, 143 were experienced by sender and 101 by receiver. These 4 graphs capture emotional balance of emotions experienced by the participants. And the top 2 graphs show positive emotions and bottom ones, negative emotions. Also, the data is broken down by the sender receiver role. The graphs on the left, sender, and on the right, receiver. Accurate interpretations are presented by green color, inaccurate by pink, and neither accurate or inaccurate by yellow. Carlo and Vera had the most clear difference in the accuracy scores between positive and negative emotions when they were receivers. This means that their dyad partners could not guess their negative emotions as good as their positive emotions. In fact, no one could guess correctly Carlo's negative emotions. It's a circled red at the bottom right graph. I have other types of data, such as self-reports from his interviews and the emotional style questionnaire, and that helps me understand a possible reason for his scores. It is likely that he did not identify his emotions correctly when reporting what he felt when he read the message. His dyad partners probably guessed his real emotions correctly, but that did not help to have an accurate interpretation scores. Discussion. Overview of the findings. I will name each finding and then describe the meaning behind it. Identity shifts. The unique study design provided me with an opportunity to witness each participant interacting with more than one dyad partner. The results supported Hayes' findings that people shift their identities in relation to the circumstance, interactional partner, and moods. Among 4 participants, Ben had the most visible identity shift between his 3 dyads. With Carlo, he expressed exchanged tones of emails using humor and emotional reactions. With Angel, he were more serious and supportive, with occasional attempts to be funny. But with Vera, Ben did not use humor or emotions in their infrequent email exchanges. Reappraisal. Emotional reactions may happen without a cognitive involvement. When this happens, the person feels an emotion which may be irrelevant to the situation at hand. Then comes a reappraisal. and the person is able to adjust the emotion. For example, Angel's reaction to one of Carlos' email message was strong and rapid. She felt offended. As she explained, she was activated because the message focused on her lack of skills. Being insecure in relation to her skills and knowledge, she immediately felt offended. However, when Carla came down to her office and they had a talk, she was able to reappraise her emotional reaction and adjust. Her reappraisal facilitated a conflict resolution. Self-awareness. When a person cannot recognize his own emotions, he cannot embed them correctly in his emails. This leads to misunderstandings and conflicts. For example, the study results showed that Carlo was not able to recognize his own emotions. Carlo reported that, in his opinion, emotions had no impact of his work relationships. However, Angel disagreed with this. She had a lot of conflict with Carlo over those emails where he communicated emotions incorrectly. Coping. Carlo had a coping strategy that he called his business mode. It is when he withdrew his emotions from his communications. His coping came from a need to reduce overwhelming emotions often associated with stress. After his coping was developed, it affected the way he felt subsequent emotions. His coping strategy created a shortcut to bypass the overwhelming emotions. However, in his business mode, he was not sensitive to emotions of others. During his interviews, when he reread emails with Angel, he called himself a jerk a few times because he realized that his writing was not appropriate. Also, his coping strategy did not work in emails because his dialogue partners assigned emotions to the messages, to his messages, that he thought had no emotions. Communication style specific to text-based computer-mediated communication. The results supported Walther's idea that developing relationships online is possible, but takes longer time. In fact, Ben and Carla could maintain their relationship by resolving conflicts through emails. However, the study results offered a broader view on this topic. Personality, emotional style, and communication style play an important role in one's ability to develop and maintain relationships online. For example, Angel was not able to maintain any of her work relationships online. She needed in-person interactions to resolve conflicts and develop trust. Personality, emotional style, and communication style matching job demands. In cases of a bad person-job fit, the person feels a lot of stress and most likely would leave the position. For example, Vera, as a chief of medical officer, enjoyed being a veterinarian, but she often felt overwhelmed when she had to focus on the administrative part of her job. There were too many emotional-laden intrusions for Vera. She felt distracted and unable to focus. Thus, she often was behind on her administrative tasks and email replies. Eventually, she resigned from the executive position. She did not leave the organization, although. Non-discrete emotions. Humans experience emotions as a result of complex processes that at the emotional level, at the molecular level. Emotional processes do not resemble light switches. When researchers attempt to use discrete emotions or basic emotions, as they call them, their approach is not supported by the actual emotional process in humans. The participants in my study reported having mixed emotions. Both Ben and Carlo described their emotions using more than one emotional word. Emotional valence. The results support Riordan and Trich triggers findings that there is a difference between partners' interpretation accuracy of positive versus negative emotions. When Carlo and Vera were receivers, their dyad partners and their dyad partners had a harder time interpreting their negative emotions compared to positive. Emotions and emojis. Emoticons and emojis. I'm repeating emotions so many times that that's all I can say. Emoticons and emojis. The results were surprising to me, actually, but they supported other researchers' recent findings. In my study, the use of emoticons and emojis in work-related emails was close to none. I found a few emoticons in the email histories, but I did not see any emojis there, even though they were available to participants. A slightly higher number of these nonverbal cues were used in chat interviews. Examples that are present on the screen are various emoticons, and it came from her work email, and Ben's emoji came from his chat interview. Punctuation as a nonverbal cue. The three types of punctuation were used as nonverbal cues to provoke an emotional reaction. They are capital letters, ellipses, and exclamation point. Again, I did not expect to see only three types of punctuation used that way. However, they were used in consistency with Walther's findings. Answering the research question. How does socio-emotional communication via email support the growth and maintenance of work relationships? There are two situations in which growth and maintenance takes place. First is natural matching personalities, emotional styles, and communication styles. And the second is when people actively engaged in their relationship maintenance. Maximum effect is reached when the two situations occur simultaneously. Also, there are 5 major factors that affect dyad's ability to grow and maintain their relationships. Frequency of email communication, inclusion of emotional cues that correctly represent intended emotion, inclusion of humor and positive attitudes, reconciliation after a conflicting situation, and adjusting communication style to better match the dyad partner's style. Sub-question number 1. How do participants perceive emotions' role in the growth and maintenance of their relationship? The participants' perception of emotions' role depended on the factors connected with his or her psychological portrait. Specifically, Carlo was the only one who said that emotions were not important for his work relationships. To understand his perspective, it was useful to look at his emotional style questionnaire scores for self-awareness and attention dimensions, which were noticeably lower compared to other participants. Sub-question number 2. How do participants convert their thoughts and emotions into written language using nonverbal cues. The participants had several approaches to do that, but these three were the most important ones. First, using explicit emotional words. For example, I'm frustrated, or I feel degraded or offended, or something very explicit. Two, selecting certain words to convey a specific meaning. For example, immediately to convey urgency. Three, including self-disclosures in their emails. For example, when expressed his support for his feelings of being part of the team, he said, I'm here and available if you need me, but he stayed at home actually. Just wish I was there with you guys. I hate not being there with everyone. So he disclosed his emotions right there. Implications of the findings. Study design. To my knowledge, there has been no similar studies where both sender and receiver's emotions were interpreted and the interpretation accuracy assessed. Also, this study takes into account the participants' relationships as well as their psychological portraits. Finally, the study design where 4 people from 6 dyads allowed to observe the changes in participants' identities and behaviors across dyads. Also, guidelines for maintaining work relationship online. The finding gave an insight into successful and unsuccessful maintenance of work relationships. A best practices list for maintaining relationships in dispersed teams would be useful for those organizations that have such structure. Guidelines for effective electronic communication. Email and chat usage became a norm in most organizations today. To communicate effectively, employees have to convert thoughts and emotions into text in such a way that promotes their collaboration. For this purpose, the guidelines for converting emotions into text would be especially useful. Strengths and weaknesses. There is a list of strengths of this study, which is innovative study design, multiple types of information sources that allowed triangulation, depth of investigation. I was able to describe in detail individual participants as well as each dyad. Participants, member of one executive team. This is a very unique situation. In the organizational hierarchy, every change starts from the top and trickles down to regular employees. Observing and learning from the organization's executive team was definitely a strength. Also, since I worked at the same organization, I had established trust with participants prior to the study. As a result, the participants could disclose more private information easier, which increased the sense of authenticity of the information. I had a few weaknesses. Definitely small sample size. Only 4 people forming 6 dyads, which is the bare minimum. No generalizability because it's a single organization. However, it is the entire executive team minus the CEO. Finally, I did not plan to have such a complex emotion analysis. I would prefer to have the second coder to make sure that I correctly rated interpretation accuracy of sender and receiver emotions. In conclusion, A holistic approach to data collection and analysis provided to be essential. My belief in the interconnectedness of things got stronger. I think that this study showed how important it is to look at human experiences outside and inside of the body from the point of view that they are all part of the whole. From the beginning, I did not plan to develop guidelines for best practices to maintain work relationships online. Now it seems to be as a logical outcome, yet it elicits excitement in me since it wasn't expected. I realized that I am very much attracted to numerical findings. Even though I did not run statistical analysis in my study, I enjoyed the numerical data analysis the most. During my work on this study, the greatest insight came from the literature. I am happy that Candice Pert's book, Molecular Emotions, Why You Feel the Way You Feel, got into my hands. Emotional information network where the peptides carry information along the bloodstream through the body was an absolutely incredible learning for me. At this point, I'm finishing my presentation and turn off the presentation mode. And I guess right now, Nan or someone else will guide. So let me stop share.
So I think at this point, people have a discussion, isn't that right, Jennifer? Jennifer will lead this.
Wow. Mary, please feel free to step in and say anything if you want to, because I'm sort of here. I have not been working with Margarita for as long as Mary has, so I defer to Mary on many things. First of all, though, I would like to say congratulations, Margarita. I thought that was great, and because I've been talking to you all week about this presentation. There were just so many highlights to it that you just nailed that we talked about. And the one thing I noticed that you said that you pointed out that all of these people are very complex. And I felt like that was directed exactly at me, because after reading the dissertation and then talking through the presentation this whole time, I keep saying, Carlo's such a jerk. And then you said that Carlo was a jerk. He called himself a jerk. But what was interesting about the entire study is the emotional piece of it. And in reading the dissertation, I felt that you captured some interesting stories, that you presented them in an interesting way. And in particular, you did a good job of describing really the complexity of the personalities involved, and it makes it easier to understand and even to self-reflect what is how we all communicate. And my only question, because when you and I communicate, we use a lot of emojis, and you had an emoji on every slide. Do you think that emojis in work emails or in work communication, depending on the platform, and this was an organization that obviously used a lot of email, do you think that emojis are worth further study, that, you know, as far as interpreting emotions? Do you think in a different organization you might find studying emojis or looking at those, do you find that useful?
So my memory is not good enough to provide the researcher's name.
That's fine.
But there was a study that had a support for, not like suggestion as a finding, not to use emojis at work, because the people who use emojis perceived as less competent at what they are saying than those who did not. So until the organizational culture shifts to the point that emojis are actually accepted as a proper way to lead business communication conversation, until then, I would say that it's not going to be used a lot, and people are aware that it reduces perception of competence. So at this point, the answer is no, but it's so new. I'm sure it's going to change because it's part of us. Emotions cannot be removed from work.
Also, in terms of relationship maintenance, I think that's the other piece of it. So if I'm emailing you to say, could you please look into this matter and get back to me and whatever, and tell me what it costs, or those kinds of email communications you might have with a coworker. But if it's, you know, something like, thank you for putting in the extra work on that, I really appreciate it.
Mhm.
An emoji, that, I mean, that seems like, I don't know, that's what, maybe I am a communication professor, by the way, but I feel like for me, an emoji would be right in that case, but in this particular organization, and clearly it wasn't. So
it depends on organizational culture, 100%. So when I am at a new organization, I feel my way through.
Mhm.
As a first approach, I do not use any. And then if I see someone uses it, I start using it probably more than that person because I favor emojis.
Mhm.
So if I can, I use them, but I don't want to come across as incompetent. So I don't want to just be there with emojis when no one is there using them.
I agree. I will say, and then I'm gonna ask for other people to chime in here, but I will say that there is no replacement that is polite in words for the eye roll emoji. Like the eye roll emoji is, you know, you don't want to say that to someone else. Like, can you believe that? But the eye roll emoji fills in a lot. And that's where I think the emojis, and as far as, you know, the emotional, the maintenance, the relationship maintenance, but also just even interactions.
Well, I have a comment on that.
Go ahead.
I will have a reference in my dissertation to a work where researchers found that there is no increase in accuracy of guessing, like interpreting emotions when they used emojis.
Mhm.
So it's not improving understanding at all. That's surprising.
Yeah.
But at least one researcher found that, so I have to go with it.
I'm gonna have to agree. This is a whole new frontier.
Absolutely.
So other committee members, I didn't mean to, and other family members, I hope that you guys are extremely proud.
Well, don't ask them to turn on mics yet. That's too many people.
Okay. Well, I know that they're all probably silently cheering,
I hope so.
but Mary or Lynn or Nan?
Mary, do you want to speak first?
They have to unmute microphone first. Nan, microphone.
No, everybody has control over their own. I have uber control, but
Yeah,
people can unmute their own microphones if they want to say something.
Okay, so you're not with Mary?
No, I am with Mary. Mary has her microphone on. She just didn't want to turn on her camera.
It's
I
okay,
didn't know
but
I
does she
could. I
want to
thought
say
You
anything?
were controlling it. Oh, okay. No, how do I turn on my camera?
I'll turn it
At the
off.
bottom. There is an icon for camera next to microphone.
Where's, I don't see where it is. It's right down there. Okay. Down there?
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, yeah. Okay. Here I
We
am.
can see you.
Hi, I just wasn't sitting high enough, I think. There.
Okay.
Okay.
No sound now. Mary, no sound.
To everyone.
There you go.
Okay. And the light is making me look blonde, but I'm not. It's more gray. Whatever. Those who haven't seen me like lately, but it's the way the light is. It's anyway. No, go ahead, Lynn.
Oh, I was going to defer to you to speak first because you were her chair the longest, so.
Oh. Well, I thought the presentation was excellent and made it easy for almost anyone to understand what the intent was and how you were doing it, Margarita, what your method was, you know, how you were going about that, which I thought was somewhat difficult to do that. And so I thought that was helpful. I think doing a presentation that isn't terribly long or short is difficult. It's difficult to do. And so I thought it was a really good presentation. And it's easy to lose everyone along the way. Even if you've read the whole dissertation, it's difficult. So I thought it was a very good presentation. And I
Thank
think
you.
it is.
Thank you,
So
Mary.
I thought in that way it was it it was really well done. And I think there would have been more than one way to do it, but I thought this brought out the characters themselves. And so I thought that was a strength of the presentation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else have, Lynn, did you have?
Oh, I just want to say I second that. I loved the presentation. It was short and sweet and to the point. And actually, I understood your dissertation writing better watching the presentation. So that's a
the
good
goal.
thing. Yes, that's a great thing. But I have a question. So how are you going to apply your findings to make a difference in organizations?
Yes. So when I actually finished analysis and the chapter for results was finished, like written out everything, I was not sure what to write in chapter 5 at all. So I could not figure out implication of findings. I could not figure out what are my findings are. But then I started to work on presentation, even though chapter 5 was not done. And what helped me is to see my research questions again. And I said, oh, I know the answer now. So the list of best practices for maintaining relationship and also a guidance for in how effectively use emotions in text to promote collaboration. These insights are extremely helpful for organizational consultants who work with teams and help them establish relationships in dispersed teams And you don't have to have dispersed teams if you simply use emails as an essential part of communication. That's my findings gonna be useful there as well. And as an organizational consultant, I'll go with that knowledge and help the teams. So it's a direct implications of what I have discovered, I would say, in my work.
Excellent. And I hope to see a paper or a presentation on
I
that.
was considering, I was reading the book that Jennifer suggested, How to Survive Your Dissertation, and there it is.
I'm so glad that you got a hold of that. I don't even have the hard copy. I have it on Kindle.
That's a library
Yeah.
copy. So, and it says, go and publish. I will. I will find time to go and publish my findings, because that's establishing who I am in organizational psychology field. And that's what employees who are interested to work on their teams, improving the dynamics of the organization, gonna look into, see what I published. So
Excellent.
I'll do that.
So I
And
guess
yeah.
I was going to say, we haven't heard from Nan, but I would also like to meet these lovely relatives that
I don't think it's gonna happen before the end, the official part.
I just, your mom's joining from Germany. I mean, that's kind of huge.
Yes.
That's
I
commitment.
know.
Mhm.
So Nan, do you have it?
Yeah, well, I've had a chance to actually work in depth with Margarita on this, and I was really impressed by the thoroughness of her analysis and the attention that she paid to all of her data sets, the way she did a complete job of really looking at how the dyads existed individually and in their communication styles. So I'm just happy to be here to see this being defended.
Thank you.
Would you like me to put you into separate rooms now or to have a discussion? Would that help?
Yeah.
Okay, it'll take me a minute or two to do that. So what I'll do is, let's see.
I think we can wait. Are the rest of the family members, I know your sons are here, Margarita.
Yes, I know. So it's up. I cannot make them ask anything. It's up to them to turn on microphones and ask anything relevant to what I talked about, but no one gonna make anyone. So,
Right.
I mean, yeah, I mean, they'll talk a lot after. Don't worry about that.
I've
I
heard
know.
amazing things about all of them. So you
Yeah.
should all be super proud.
Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
saying thank you for them.
Okay, I've got a room. Let's see if
Right.
this works. I'm putting the three committee members into that room, and then the rest of us will stay in the main room. So let's see.
Okay.
See if that works. Okay, you should be able to
Hmm.
join. Yeah.
Так, все, английский.
Hello, everyone.
All right, we're all back.
Margarita. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Are we, so should we officially, is it
Yeah.
doctor?
Yes.
Yes, you are. And
Thank you.
Yeah. the technicalities of actually passing will come at the time through the library after you have spoken to each of us, and there are a few things that you will need to do, but they're not major things. And then when you turn the document in after editing into the library, you will become
Officially.
a doctor. Can you stand it waiting that long?
Yeah, it's 1 more month. Somehow I will survive that month.
It's not very long. I don't think it will bother you too much. And you look like you're very happy about it, you know?
Yes.
So
Thank you. Thank you so much.
we're happy and you're, all of us on your committee are happy. And isn't that
Yeah.
true?
Everyone can scream, yay!
Yay!
You can scream.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
And and the worst of it is done, right?
Right.
Hi, Sergi. It's the first time I've seen you here. And I
Hi.
haven't seen you in a long time. And I recognize Victor there.
Yeah, so if I go by names, Nona Ruzina, my mom.
Hi.
That's Mom.
Good work.
Good to see you. And you're in Germany?
Nona in
You're
Germany.
in Germany. Welcome. I
Victor,
think
Victor,
Germany's a safe place, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right now, anyway.
Victor is my younger son.
And he's going to Davis.
He is going to
Right.
Davis next fall.
Yay.
Unfortunately,
Congratulations.
And here's the other one.
my older son is right now working, and he is gonna be finished in half an hour, just when everything is done here.
Oh, right.
But he
Right,
gonna come over after that. Then
Good.
under
Hi.
Sasha KS2, it's actually Mila and Misha. They are my aunt and uncle. And
Well,
Where are you guys?
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
All
That's
right.
Okay, then Sergey Bulyga is obviously my loving husband. And Katie Tite is my best friend from childhood. We grew up in Ukraine and went to the same school, and we know each other from age of 4.
Wow.
Oh,
So
wow.
you're also 25 then, right? Like,
Yes. Exactly.
And Katie is in Great Britain right now.
wow, you guys are dedicated.
Oh.
And then the big head right there, Wolf M. He's Maxim or Max, and he is my brother.
Нет.
Yay.
Wow.
And we did
Nice.
have a lot of arguments and a lot of fights, but we love each other.
That's
She
good.
took an interview from me for the dissertation.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah, I did
That's
not think
good.
about that.
And did
And
you fight?
finally,
Did you fight
the-
during the interview?
the person who did not turn on her camera, she is my older son, Eldar's fiance. I'm not gonna ask her to do it, but she is present, and it makes a lot of meaning to me.
And did you tell us who Katie was?
Yes, Katie is my friend from
Your friend.
Ukraine. Yes, and I met her
Okay.
when I was 4 years old through our moms.
Oh, okay, going way back. And where do you live now, Katie?
In Doncaster in Great Britain.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Well, I'd just like to say thank you to all of you. None of us get through this process without the support that you're all here and you're proving that. So
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And thank you
congratulations to
guys
all of
too.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
right.
Been absolutely wonderful working with you, and I'm sure that I'm going to talk to you very soon.
Yes.
Tons of
Right.
stuff we
Okay,
Yeah.
got that document done.
Everybody go
Right.
party now.
That's
We're
right.
gonna celebrate
Bye.
all of it here.
And you
But
have
thank you so
fun.
much for attending, and thank you for your support. I am
you.
exceptionally grateful and feel like blessed having all you in my life and helping me through the process.
Aww.
Oh.
Hey.
Yeah.
And thank you to Lynn and thank you to Jennifer. It's
you.
been really helpful And thank you for coming this morning to finalize this for Margarita.
Right.
Thank you.
And there-
I
there's
will-
some
I
more
will talk to you,
paperwork done
Nan.
yet?
Nan, I will talk to you later. I will
Yeah,
talk
probably
to you
this afternoon.
outside of the meeting
Okay.
for the, logistics.
Okay,
Mhm.
that sounds good. I'm
Right.
working on it. We'll get you there. All right.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Well,
Bye
good-
bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Good seeing you. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right.
Okay, ending.
Okay.